I get to work with people that follow their dreams. So that's another thing people don't talk about when it comes to this business. Like, even during the Super Bowl, I was sitting there and I was like, wow, Snoop is happy to be here. And he kept saying, like, man, ain't y'all niggas happy to be here? Like, I ain't supposed to be here, cuz. I'm like, cuz, I ain't supposed to be here either. Like, you're around people who made their dreams come true.
Yeah.
Who really did the impossible every single day.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to It Takes a Village podcast. My name is Delina Medhin, and I am your host. This is the show for creative entrepreneurs that are seeking industry business strategy. So first up, our first guest is Malika James, and she also goes by MJ. MJ and I had such a good time. I recorded this episode live in LA with her, and it just felt like I was hanging out with my sister. We immediately just vibed and we talked about all types of things. And the thing about Malika is that she's so experienced and she knows exactly what she's doing, but at the same time, she's so relatable and so easy to talk to. So Malika has had experience working with many different people. She's worked with Gabrielle Union. She's worked with Jessica Alba, Denai Guerrera. She's also had experience working on television shows and movies, The Walking Dead, Hunger Games, Grownish. So she is a leader. She's been a leader in these places, but she's also been an individual contributor as well. So she understands the different roles and how to make things work efficiently in different spaces. So we talk about her understanding of the business of being in makeup in film and television. So within this show, we actually talk about two different things. We talk about the unions. We talk about 706 and 798. If you're not familiar, makeup artists have unions in order to get into film and television. And these unions are designed to protect artists from overworking and making sure that they get paid and compensated fairly. So 798 is primarily for East Coast and 706 is primarily for the West Coast, but there is some crossover there. The other thing I wanted to tell you we talk about, which is very, very important, is the Variety article that Malika wrote. So she wrote an article about her experience in 706, and it was an article that resonated a lot with people in the industry, myself included. And I don't want to give too much of it away, but it is a very powerful article. So powerful, in fact, I would recommend that you go check it out yourself. I have linked it in the show notes, so you have a direct link in order to go ahead and read it. But it created some change and it created some intentional work that has needed to be done in Hollywood for a long time, which is one of the main reasons why I wanted to talk to her. Before we get into the episode, I want to make sure that you follow her at MJ Faces on Instagram. You can also check out her on YouTube, The House of MJ. And I think that's it. Let's get into the episode. So excited to have you. Thank you so much for coming. I want to introduce everybody to you. Okay. So I've known you for a little while, but this is our first time meeting in person. And you are, so one of the first things I thought that was very interesting about you is that you started your career in like, I guess I would say like traditional makeup in terms of like you have like freelance. Working at a Mac counter. And then you went to 798 where it was, that's the East Coast, our East Coast union. Yep. And then there's some crossover a little bit in the middle of the country. And then 706, which I feel like is like, no shade to 798, but it's a smaller union because it's just there's not as many productions over there. Yeah. So it's like 706, you came over to LA and then you came over here and started to do your career over here. And you have an incredible client list.
Thank God.
Yes. You've worked with Gabrielle Union, Kelly Rowland.
I worked with Janelle Monáe when that was my first client.
I saw your throwback picture.
That's so funny. Because I'm like, wowzers. Like, I don't even, some people didn't even know Janelle. Like, who? I'm
like, and now they're like Janelle.
Janelle.
One word.
Yeah.
Yeah. First word only.
First word only.
So yeah, so you, and also you've done films, you've done Walking Dead, did that in Atlanta. You also did Being Mary Jane, which by the way, I loved Being Mary Jane. I love
that show. Man.
I know. When I saw that and I was like, oh my God, I like watched so many episodes of Being Mary Jane, so many seasons. That was such a good show. America's Got Talent. You did Hunger Games.
The Game.
Yeah.
Remember that TV show?
Oh my gosh, you did The Game too? Wow.
I did Brandy.
You're
and
pretty
on
iconic.
that show. All the like shows, right?
All the
Like,
shows.
all the cool shows.
All the culture. Did you do Walking Dead in Atlanta?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you did Walking Dead there.
I feel like I came here and kind of took a slump because I was doing
Really?
so well in Atlanta. Yeah, I did like Hunger Games, Walking Dead.
Yeah.
And then I came to LA, and LA is so...
By the way, I did look at your IMDb, and I was like, I didn't know she did Hunger Games.
Oh, wow, yeah. That's so funny that I don't even update it. That's
I
so
know.
crazy. It updates by itself, though.
It does if you're on the right production.
And so, sometimes it's not correct, so I do need to check it. But after I did that article, so many people were saying, like, sending me like mean shit to IMDb, so I just stopped like looking at it. Oh, people were pissed.
After you did the Variety article?
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
you gotta think,
who
you
was
exposed
mad?
Something. I just say their names. Like I'm like, there was a lady named Jan.
You were like, well, actually,
no, I won't say their names.
Yeah.
But anytime you expose something, people are gonna be angry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I took a lid off something that a lot of us did not know. Black, white, Asian. I had white people calling me crying, like, yo, I never knew that it was like this. I never knew. I knew that the culture is different. You know what I mean? Like one of my good girlfriends who's white in the union was like, there is definitely favoritism in the union. She was like, but I didn't know the history of really where it came from. So I really opened up a box that people just didn't know about. And people were pissed. Some black people were mad because like, we don't want people in. Like, we're good.
What?
This is fine. Why is that? Some people were so shocked.
No. You know what? You know what's really wild is I reread it last night because I wanted to I wanted to take a second, and I saw it and I was like, the first word I thought of was brave. That was such a brave article to write because because it's like it's one thing to be experiencing something and that's brave. But then to tell other people about it is like to actually, and then you sum it up at the end where you're like, I wanted this to change. I still believe it can change and that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
And that was one of those moments where I was like, that's big.
It's interesting you said brave because it took me like a week. I was crying. And like, you know, George Floyd, everything was going on around that time. But I think it made everybody look at their own community and like what they're around and what they're accepting and what things are happening around them. And I was like, wow, I'm in this union. I'm in both unions. A lot of people don't do both unions.
Yes.
And I've experienced some of the same things in both of these unions. I want to learn more about these unions. And then as I start uncovering and learning more about these different people, I was like, oh, this is set up to be this way. This isn't just random that, you know.
It's institutionalized.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't know. We're just like business as usual. But to know that so many artists before us were really fighting and trying to just get a job, and to know that there were actors that were having to go to Crenshaw to get their hair done and they had to come to set with these white people who couldn't do their hair, and to being in front of the camera is just nerve-wracking anyway. You know what I mean? You have so many insecurities before you even get there. So to get there and to not have the proper hair and makeup for you is just wrong. But to know that it's an institutionalized thing and it has happened for so long. And when I was like, man, I want to write about it. Well, actually, Gab was like, you should write about it. Because we were talking about it on set. And Gab was like, you should write about it. And I was like, I think I'm okay. I think I'm okay.
I think I'm good.
And then I was like, oh man, you're afraid. You definitely need to do it if you're afraid. Because what are you afraid of? God, your agent. What can these people really do to you that hasn't already been done? I've been homeless before. I've not had money before. What can they do to me? And I was like, nothing but talk and be mad.
Yeah.
People do that anyway. But I also exposed to us. You know what I mean? It wasn't like this was in Essence magazine or, you know, in Vogue. It was in Variety for people that look like us, work like us, do what we do, hire, fire. So yeah, it was bold, it was brave, and I'm so happy I did it. I have a big cotton tree in my backyard. And I was laughing because I was like sitting out there crying, and I was just like, man. And I looked up and I'm like, there's cotton in my backyard. I've always known there's a cotton tree in my backyard, but I was laughing because my grandmother picked cotton in Alabama and my great-grandmother. So I was like, you know what? My ancestors are clearly right here with me. Let me just write how I feel. And then I just start talking to different people and connections just start coming. And Jane Fonda was really the one that was like,
do it.
Absolutely, you're going to do this. I'm going to support this. I'm going to stand by this. And I'm going to give you a quote because I was affected. You know what I mean? She's like, as a makeup artist she was like, as an actress in my prime, you know, like, she's like, I was a hot girl. Like, you're still hot, Jay. But she's like, in my prime, I wanted this Black woman. And everybody told me no. My agents, everybody was like, no, we don't want to do that. And she's like, this woman was amazing. She could do makeup great. And they told me no. So, yeah, I did it. I'm proud of it. And I really feel like it changed a lot for a lot of people. I got calls from people working on Grey's Anatomy like, yeah, I got a position here. I got a position on another like at least 4 different shows that had not hired a lot of people of color or hiring people of color. Yeah. Some guy called me because he was pissed that he had to hire a person of color. And he wanted to let me know that in his 47 years of working in the industry, he could choose who he wanted to hire, which I understand. You could choose who you want to hire as a department head or whatever. He was like, but because of your fucking article, I now have to. And I was just like...
Not him calling you to tell you.
Oh, pissed.
Why do you call his friends?
Our numbers are, you can access somebody.
Yeah.
The union president called me a liar in front of everybody. She's like, the article is a whole lie. So I'm like, would you want to go to the library? Because there's a library in the union. Like, do you want to go and look at this? Because I couldn't just make this shit up. You know what I mean? Like, why would you call me a liar? But then she privately called me to apologize. So she publicly called me a liar.
Right.
And then I privately sent her an email to address it with my number so she didn't have to look it up. And she called me and we had
she already had it.
Although she had it. We had an hour and a half conversation. And she apologized, but it was like one of those like, sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no, you should apologize in front of everybody because you called me a liar in front of everybody. And these aren't my feelings. These are fucking facts.
Yeah.
My feelings were in there about things that happened to me, but the story of the unions and how they got started, I didn't make this shit up. Like, I don't want this. Like, so yeah. Thank you, though. I appreciate you saying it was brave.
I appreciate
really
you. I appreciate you doing it. For me, when I saw that, I was like, because that's how change happens. Mm-hmm. It has to be, and the way you wrote it from that first person perspective, typically it's like you have a journalist write an article like that, and then they're like, she mentioned it to me, and then I wrote the article. But like coming from your first person perspective and being like, this is what it is, and then in such a reputable place.
Yeah.
And I think before that, I'd already tied you to somebody who was really actively helping people get into the union that were Black.
Yeah, I try. I still
you always,
try.
Yeah. I mean,
Black,
even
Spanish, whoever, a person of color, we have it so hard. We have it much harder than other people. And I think that's what the article was really shedding light on, that our journey to getting in the union is much different than anybody else's,
Yeah.
And that's just a fact. Some people have it way easier. I've met one of my friends that's Black. She's like, man, I didn't go through any of that. And it's so funny, but I'm like, you've only worked on Black productions. So it's a little different for you. You have some things there, but it's not so much like racist things. You know what I mean?
It's different. It's different for you if you have also, if you're covered a little bit by it. There can also be, nobody really wants to talk about this, but there can also be the competition when you're in all Black productions too.
Oh my God, absolutely. That's why I'm like, there's still some shit.
Right. There's
some shit everywhere.
Exactly.
But I think it hurts more when you're not being treated fairly because of the color of your skin.
100%. Those are two different. Those are two different experiences.
Yeah.
And one is one that is going to actually like. I feel like when you have power. I remember when I was in sociology class, and I remember I had a white teacher, this was in college, and she was like, you can't be racist if you're Black. Mm-hmm. She says this. And all the white people in the class are like, what? And she was like, you have privilege. Technically, the only thing you can do is like, if you're upset about what's happening, nothing is going to change. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like nothing's going to happen. Your power is not tied into it. So it's like, you can be prejudiced as a Black person, like you could not like somebody, but it's not going to affect their experience in life. They're still going to go on and be successful. And it's going to be fine. Yeah. So I'm not saying that feelings aren't going to be hurt by that, right? If a Black person says something to a white person or vice versa or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I wish there was more respect for humanity.
I do too.
You know?
I do too.
Like the fact that we're having this conversation in 2022, like feels wild to me.
The fact that people were calling me to tell me that they have to hire Black people and they're mad about it feels wild to me.
Right?
The fact that people even emailed me to say it, I was like, I could put you on blast right now, but like, okay, I'm not in that business. But the fact that people felt entitled enough to be mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's different. That's bold.
Now that's bold and brave.
That's
bold.
Now that's bold and brave.
Like, damn. Okay. But I'm so thankful because I was in I made sure that I was eating really, really well and eating very, very clean so I could operate out at my highest self.
Okay, talk about that, because you and I feel like that's where we bonded on that specifically.
And that's important sometimes. Even, I mean, just in business alone, like if you know that, for example, like if there's a big job coming up or if you have an audition or just something, I always suggest to try to eat and drink a lot of water, eat clean and drink a lot of water so that your body's in harmony. You know what I mean? Everything is in harmony. You feel soft. You feel clear.
Mm-hmm.
You're not like, fuck this. So for me, I knew what I was getting into and I needed to really operate in that space. And I learned that a long time ago, just even in business, like sometimes when I would do deals by myself and I was bothered, angry, had some other stuff going on.
Like as your own agent, you were
as my own agent. Okay. Not eating great, not sleeping well, not drinking a lot of water, like just not all the way clear. And having those kind of conversations just wasn't good for me. It was not good for me. And one of my mentors was like, you know what? The next time a job comes and you have to speak for yourself, give yourself 72 hours to just really meditate, eat well, drink well, be happy, write down exactly what you want, write down exactly what you don't want, and just sit with it. And I'll be honest, when I had that call with the producers, I was so calm and like, yeah, absolutely, that sounds good. I don't think that's going to work for me. Well, think about it. I don't need to think about it. Not going to work for me. I was so calm and so clear, and I felt so good getting off the phone. I wasn't like, I wasn't angry. I didn't feel weird, like I said anything wrong or like, oh my God, I'm not going to get the job because I said it. Because I speak how I feel. It's very rare that I don't say what I feel. I'm learning a little bit more to just...
How long do you think it took you to get there, though?
Probably about 10 years.
Yeah. From the beginning till then.
Yeah, I think so. And too, I'm the youngest. And I think when you're the youngest child, sometimes you're always like, who wants it? Who wants it? You're getting picked on. Like, so I think you carry that. Who wants it? You carry that into your job, into your life, into your experiences in the world. So I really, really, really have learned to just, not everyone needs to know how you feel.
Yeah, that's wisdom.
Not everyone needs to know how you feel. And it's okay to say no to a job.
Yeah. It's
okay that people are not going to like you. It's okay.
Yeah, it is okay. You think that's maturity in your business, or you think that's just maturity from like a personal, like you think that
I think it transitions
in everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
like, for example, eating well. Like, I knew I was doing this podcast with you, and I was like, I want my skin to look yummy. I drank a gallon and a half of water. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Now, that was in my personal time, but it transcends to now.
Yes.
Hopefully, I look...
Oh, you do.
Stunning.
But incredible.
Scrumptious. But like, I think what happens with you personally, juicy, all of those. I think all of those things transcend. When you get therapy in your personal time, you can be at work and someone, steals your brush and you're like, I know my brush is missing.
Yeah.
The old me would be like, empty all your shit. Now I'm like, you know what?
Everybody, I know it's in here.
You need that brush. Yeah. And if it's meant to come back to me, it's just taking a different approach to things, Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think maturity in your personal life will transition into your business. Mm-hmm. It should. I think people don't talk about our mental health. You should definitely have a therapist in this business.
1,000%.
Someone to bounce things from.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like an actor, like they deal with so much rejection if you're dark skinned, if you're light skinned, we're not looking for that. We're looking for a white girl. If you're this, if you're that, we're not looking for that. And I think sometimes when you're working on a trailer with people, you're dealing with a lot of insecurities, whether it's the actors or your team. You know what I mean? Some people are getting older and they don't like seeing new young people come in. Some people are fat and they don't like seeing, little skinny cute girls. Some people have fucked up skin and they have to wear makeup. They hate that you come in makeup free every day. There's just so much and you can't take on everybody's issues. So having the personal time to just have a therapist, and some of them, I mean, you can find them, they're free.
Yeah.
Listening to a meditation, like really taking care of your mental is so important in this business, man, because if you're not right, nothing's going to be right.
I also think that this business attracts like an empath, like an empathic kind of personality, like in terms of the service side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the makeup artists, the hairstylists, like they take on a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't know how to manage your feelings, you're taking on, like you said, you're in the trailer, you're taking on people's anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Anxiety is a big one.
It's a very big
because it's like, there's so much money on every production set that you work on where they're like, hey, when is this person going to be ready? When are they going to be done? But then at the same time, you need to make sure that the actress that you're working with is calm.
Yeah.
And they don't need that energy from the second.
Fucking brows aren't right. Everyone's going to be talking about me. Like, you have so many things to manage, and who's going to manage you?
Yeah.
Who's going to manage you? And I think it really starts with yourself. Just first understanding that you can't do every job, understanding that everyone's not going to like you, understanding that insecurities happen, understanding that you're bringing childhood trauma into your workspace, and that's okay as long as you know it and then you deal with it. Like, you're not bad. I don't think people are just inherently bad people. I think shit happens and it makes us jaded or it makes us sad or whatever whatever the case may be. But I've had mentors that, became not mentors because they didn't like that my career was going in a higher position than theirs. That's hard to deal with because you're like, wait, I fucking adore you and love you. I would never treat you as less than. Like,
whoa. Or even mentors, I feel like it puts you in a different headspace, but friends too. Oh, yeah. Like you come up at the same time.
Yeah.
But then it's like you get this job or they wanted this thing and you got it. And it's like there's this immediate animosity between the two of you. And depending on the person, right? It's like that can end.
And depending on that trauma and what you've healed and what therapy you've gotten, you're going to either, like for me, I always will disappear. If I know that there's an issue, if I smell it, if I feel it, you'll never hear from me again. Cut off.
Just gone.
Now, some people are like, that's amazing. That's also not healthy because you don't deal with it. Because not every person can sit and say, hey, you know what, Delina, you started out here, now you're all over here. I see you on Good Morning America. It makes me feel like I'm not doing good enough. Like most people can't articulate that and be honest, and then most people can't say, hey, you know what, I feel like you're a little jealous. Who the fuck you think you are jealous? What I gotta be jealous of you about? Some conversations you don't need to have. Everyone doesn't need to know how you feel.
Yeah.
There's some conversations you can. There's some conversations you can't. And then I think you just need to know who you can have those conversations with and who you can't. I just, for a long time, would be like, you're dead to me.
Wait, how do you do that, though? You just literally just be like, no more answering phone calls?
Dead to me.
Dead.
I will see you on set and be like,
you know what? Okay. All right. Wait. So is it because did something actually, look at me. I'm like, did something actually happen?
Yeah. Certain
or
things,
is it more of like, because sometimes you have a feeling, like I'm learning that also, some people might say this is kind of dangerous, but I feel like when I have a feeling about something, a lot of times it's kind of like, it's coming from somewhere.
Your gut is your brain.
Right.
Your gut is your
and that's why
brain.
We're talking about eating a certain way because it's like, if you don't clean this up, you're going to be really cloudy in here. Yeah.
You can't make
the anxiety comes from here.
I think you have to trust yourself, Delina. I think when you feel it and a person, because people are always going to show you who they are. Always. They can't hide it. If a person's not happy for you, it's going to come out. You know what I mean? It's going to come out. And for me, it's dangerous to have you around me. I'd rather not have you around because you'll do something either to me, to my career. You'll tell a lie on me. So if I can detach myself from you that you don't even have access to me, you can't say Malika said or did nothing because you don't even know me anymore.
anymore.
You know what I mean? And it is rough because you have to, this business is so small. So you still see people, you still,
Yes.
but I don't talk about them. I'm not like, oh my God, guess what they did to me? Mm-mm. It's
Nothing.
I've had people ask me like, hey, can we use so-and-so for such and such? Do you have so-and-so? I've even referred people for stuff because I don't want the karma of me blocking them from a job because I personally had an issue with them or they personally had an issue with me. Like, I lead with love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And when you lead with love, it can be very hurtful when people don't give that back to you. But that's a part of growing. Everyone is not going to like you, and it's okay.
I like that because it's like, you're like dead to me. You say dead to me, but it's really, you're just neutral. You go neutral with it. You're like, I'm not going to put anything bad out there for you. I'm not going to put it, it's like, and even if there's an opportunity where you're aligned, sure, maybe I might even throw it to you, but I'm not going to entertain it. That's I don't know. I feel like that's good.
It is good.
I like it.
It can be, but you know what's so crazy?
Yeah.
One of my mentors was like, if you're really, really gangster, and there was a person that was really good at makeup.
Okay.
And I was like, man, I need another person. She's like, well, hire that person. I'm like, oh my God, she hates me. She's like kind of mean. She's like, but you're a boss. So either she's going to do the job or she's not. Call her. And I was like, I hadn't talked to her in 2 years. I was like, okay. And I knew the actress would be so happy because she's so talented. Called her. She said, oh my God. 1, I can't believe you're calling me. 2, I need money. Hell yeah, I'll do the job. I didn't tell her rate. It was a great rate too, but I'm like, you don't want to know nothing? She's like, nope, sign me up. She's like, but I want to meet with you before the job. I said, well, no, you can't meet with me by myself. We can meet with the team because I'm putting the team together. She was like, okay, fine. Got together with the team, and mind you, she did something so bad to me. It was really shady, really shady. And she was older than me, and I just was like, I felt slighted. Like, damn, man, I just thought I could learn from you, you know? But that was also a lesson. Stop thinking that because people are older than you that they want to mentor you. Stop thinking that because people are older than you that they know more than you. But long story short, after we had the team meeting, she came to me and she was like, I know you didn't want to talk to me by yourself. She was like, but I have to apologize to you. She was like, I was going through one of the worst times of my life. And then I met you. You're happy, new, young, energetic, cute, spunky. And I'm like, she's everything that I'm not. And I said, wow, that's so interesting because at that time, I thought you were everything that I wanted to be. Wow. And we both just kind of cried. I still wasn't. I'm like, we're still not going to be fucking besties after this.
Let's be clear.
Let's be clear. But at least know, and it also taught me that people see you very differently than how you see yourself. Because to me, she was like, whoa. And I was a threat to her. For whatever the reason, you know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, I was broke. I had no money. Like, I was fresh out of college. Like, what did you have? What did you possibly? But people don't see you how you see them. But long story short, we ended up working together and it was amazing. She came to work every day, on time, performed. I didn't give her enough access to me to hurt me. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense, because you have to protect yourself. I didn't give her that type of access, but we worked together and it was amazing. And my mentor was like, I'm so proud of you, Malika, because most people wouldn't do that. Or most people would treat that person so funny because you are the boss. But I don't really look at myself as the boss on shows, if that makes any sense.
What do you think of yourself as?
Team leader.
Okay.
And I say team leader because we're a team, but when the shit goes down or if it all goes bad, I'm the one that has to go to the principal's office.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, no, they're not going to be like, oh, she did.
Right.
Where's the department head? Da, 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 da. Okay, got it. But I like to think of it as a team because tomorrow, my third or my key could be my department head. And that's just how I came in the business under people that were much older than me. And that's how they worked. Like, oh, I'm department head now, but she's going to department head this show in China that we're doing tomorrow. And I'd be like, you guys going to China together tomorrow? And now you're the boss? Got it. And it's just like, it's kind of like that ladder. Like the people you see going up, but if you keep a cool team with you, if you keep good people around you that really care about the business and you don't get so personal with it, man, you can keep making money and keep working shows and keep having a great reputation because it's not personal. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, why you got on white shoes? You told me you was going to wear black shoes today. We went to the mall together and we bought them shoes together. Like, you know what I mean? It gets to be too much. No, no, this is show business. It's not show friends.
Wow.
And so many people don't understand that. It's great to connect with people. It's great to have like minds and cool conversations to be able to talk about my mom and your mom. And that's amazing. But at the end of the day, it is show business. I've never heard of show friends. I'm still
Except
waiting.
For the show friends.
Except for the show friends. You know what I mean? Even they had their shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's a business.
That's
and people
real.
Don't get it. And I think even now into this time that where we're going as far as like makeup artists and hairstylists becoming influencers and becoming celebrities and, you know, being attached to celebrities, blah, 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 blah. It's still a business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
right now, if you're like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. Someone's coming for your spot.
100%.
If I fall out, I had the opportunity to do the Super Bowl last year, 2021.
That's amazing.
Big, right?
Huge.
God, so dope.
Got it.
my
Really is
agent
so dope.
is
Wait,
so
hold
dope.
on, wait. Okay, because I was literally like, I feel like you were in such prep mode. I didn't even really know about it until like right before you were about to do it.
Probably.
And it
Yeah.
was like, okay.
That was
So
dope.
did you coordinate makeup for every like performer?
The cool thing is,
At the Super Bowl?
shout out to Chaka Zulu and Jesse Collins because that was amazing. So Jesse called me and he's like,
God is so dope.
God is so dope. He's like, yeah, so we're doing the Super Bowl and Mary has her team. I'm like, oh yeah, I know Mary's team. He's like, okay, so we have Snoop. I'm like, I've done Snoop before. That's easy. He's like paper
Quick.
towel and a little lip balm. That's all. He's like Dr. Dre, Eminem. And I'm like, whoa. He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, I probably would need like 2 to 3 people. He's like, well, no, there's about 60 dancers. I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He was like, well, Fatima. I was like, Fatima? I was like, let me call you back. He's like, let me finish. I'm like, got it. Write everything down.
You tried to hang up. You were like, let me call you back. He was like, hold on.
Yeah, I just kind of bugged out a little bit like, holy shit. Like, I think I was, that's also too why sometimes you should have an agent doing deals for you. But I've made such good connections with people. Sometimes people just call me directly.
Wait, which
But-
team are you talking about?
Fatima Robinson, the choreographer,
Okay.
rock the boat. Like, I mean,
Okay.
brand, like Fatima to me, because I grew up loving music videos.
Mhm.
So I've always known who she was and I've always wanted to work with her. Always. And I love dancers. I feel like dancers are so fucking dope.
Me too. I wanted to be a backup dancer when I was little.
I don't have rhythm.
Yo, me neither really, but I'm just saying I really wanted to.
I
In my
still
mind,
want
I was
to.
like,
I still want to. I be looking at Larry sometimes like, Larry, just teach me a little something. But so I wrote everything down. And long story short, I was like, okay, cool. I'd have to have a team of at least 20 people to really execute this, like to make sure everybody's covered. And it was really dope. And I had to put together a pretty big team. And that felt really cool because I got to hire the 2 women that brought me into the union. They're from LA, but they came to Atlanta to work. And they're like, little girl, you need to be in the union. I was like, the union? What are you talking about? So I got to hire them. And then there were like 2 new people that aren't in the union, but were able to get waivers to work with us in 706. So just to see like people that were in their 60s, people that were in their 20s, all kind of coming together to work on the Super Bowl was just like fun and dope.
hey, thank you so much for watching this episode of It Takes a Village podcast. I'd like to invite you to do 2 things and then I'll get you back into the episode. Number 1, if you could go and leave us a 5-star review, leave us information about what you liked about the episode. And most importantly, this is something I'm going to incorporate into future episodes, is leave your questions, things that you want asked by these experts. I really want to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need to help move your business to the next level. Number 2, if you can go over to ittakesavillagepod.com, that's pod.com, you can subscribe to our newsletter. So our newsletter has information about each episode coming out, show notes, details about the guest, and more. So go check that out as well. And with that, let's get back into the episode.
Certain things you just can't even make up. Like I can't even make this up.
That was incredible.
It was fun. It
was
really
incredible.
was.
It was just incredible to watch, like you doing that. And the thing I think about too with that is, how do you choose your team? What qualities are you looking for? Are people balancing each other? What do you need?
Honesty, man.
Honesty.
When I worked on The Walking Dead, honesty goes so far, and I think a lot of people in humility. The Walking Dead, if people don't know, it was a zombie show, zombie apocalypse. I'd only done beauty, like, my entire life. And this makeup artist handed me a bag of dirt, a thing of blood, and some sponges I had never seen before. And I was like, hey, can I talk to you? She's like, I don't know, I asked to speak to the department head, because I didn't know the department head. And normally the key deals with everybody that hires a third. So it was a third that was, I was an additional. And I said, who can I speak to? Who hired me? Like, the person that hired me is the person I need to talk to. And they're like, talk to me. And I'm like, okay, fine. I can't do this. I've never done anything with dirt. I've never done anything with blood. And when I got the call to do the job, no one told me what this was. Now, I should have known what The Walking Dead was. I should have at least looked it up. But I was just like, I'll be there tomorrow. Great.
Yeah. See you soon.
See you soon. No big deal. And man, they looked at me. It was two women. They just kind of looked at me and she's like, okay. Let me, hold on 1 second. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So they went and got the department head. The department head, Donna Premick, was so dope. I've learned so much from her. She's like, I'm so happy you're honest. No, most people won't. They'll just come out here and basically, what she said was fuck something up. Like, you're stopping to say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. She's like, that is going to get you so far. And just to show you how far it's going to get you, I worked on the show for 3 years.
Wow.
And she brought me in the trailer and just showed me a little bit, boom, 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 boom. And she's like, just do that all day. And then we'll teach you more as you know, the more you're here, the more you'll learn, the more you'll have a dirt kit. You'll have a kit for special effects. And I was just like, what kind of world is this? Like, I'm getting paid great amount of money to fucking slap dirt and blood on people. Like, okay. But it was also humbling because I'm like, I've never done this before. I felt so out of place, but I was honest about it. And because I was honest and humble about it, man, people just really wrapped their arms around me. Like, oh man, got you. And it was cool. But I look for that when I'm hiring a team. I look for people that are humble, people that are honest. Like, hey, I don't do this well. I can do this well. Or hey, you know what? I have a problem with time. And I'm just, we're going to have a problem because being in film and TV, you have to be on time. You know what I mean? Like, just communicate. I don't have a car. Cool. Let's see if we can work it out where someone can, get you to where you need to be. Like, I just think it starts with being honest. And then, talent. You gotta have some talent. And every artist I like working with people that are better than me sometimes.
Yeah, me too.
Actually, all the time. But if there's certain shows that I know that, like, man, this is like, we just did this movie last July and Sam Fine was like, I'll do it. I was like, Sam, knock it off. Yeah. You're not gonna work. He's like, no, I'll do it. I'm like, okay, it's 6 weeks. And by the way, I'm pregnant. And he's like, got it. Got you. And came in and fucking killed it and was so accommodating and helpful and like, oh my God, you like this? I love Black Opal. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, oh my God, let me put this time for it down and get this Black Opal. Like, it was just such a cool way of just learning, and different people on the team. Everybody was like, it was just good people, man. And you're not always going to have those shows. You're not always, everyone, and I think that it's naive to think that everything is going to be blissful and great because you don't grow. Without conflict, sometimes you're not going to learn about yourself or how you may handle things. So I don't always look for easy shows or an easy team anymore. I just look for good people that say they're honest, say they're going to be on time, do the job. I try not to put my heart into it,
Okay.
Business. Business. And it's business because productions are business. You're not there fucking just to have a good time. Mm-hmm. Because if you drop dead, they will step over you and find someone else.
Yeah.
Easy. That's what I was talking about. That's what made me think about the Super Bowl. I was like, okay, man, if I can't do this job, like if something happens, because I always think of that. Like, what if something happens, or if you can't do something, have a backup, or have this makeup artist, which is relationships. You should also try to have some good relationships with the people that you can refer work to. But my mentor that was there when I was talking, she's like, Malika, if you drop dead now, we'll have somebody at 5 o'clock. Wow. Like, it's 1 o'clock now. We'll find somebody else at 5.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
You'll be fine. Like, go into the ER, whatever you got to do. Like, and I was just,
how'd that make you feel?
I laughed.
You did?
Because it's true.
You were like, you know what? You're right. You're like, why am I trying to figure out the plan when I would be dead anyway? Like, what am I doing?
Gone. Like, this business, no one gives a shit about you. You're lucky if you get to meet people that care about you. People really don't give a shit about you. And I had to do it. I was on a show. A girl got into a car accident. Thank God she was safe. She was okay, but she was hysterical. And I was like, okay. You're okay, though? Cool. Boom. Can you get it? And it's fucked up as it is. I have to, at the end of the day, if I'm the department head, I have to fill this position. She didn't mean to get in a car accident. I wasn't insensitive. It was like, okay, great. You can't come? Cool. Like, it's show business. When people say the show will go on, the show will really go on. And you have to have that mindset, because you can't think that you're replaceable. That's also a thing. Like, you can't think that you're so much that people won't replace you.
Yeah.
You'll get replaced for jewelry. I've seen people get replaced
for jewelry.
I've seen people get replaced for crazy things, just people's insecurities.
Wow.
Yeah.
Replaced for having a specific type of jewelry on, or taking jewelry? Or you mean like
the story.
Right. Yeah, get it. Hey.
So listen, makeup artists and hair people, all those things. I'm not ever going to tell you to not be who you are. Always be yourself. If you want to show up boldly, show up boldly. Just understand that sometimes there are consequences to how you look, how you act, how you sound, and being you. Not everyone is going to celebrate and accept you. And I was on a project and why am I laughing? I don't even know the story yet. The thing is, it's not even funny. It's just like, wow, it just puts you in a mindset of like, oh, people are interesting. So on a project, and to kind of make it like not so direct, an artist told me, listen, when people wear certain things, whether it's, shoes or watches or whatever, sometimes you send a message that you don't need the money to be hired. And I was like, oh, interesting. Shit. Okay. And she's like, yeah. So, sometimes you might want to bring it down, not wear your jewelry or,
This is a client telling you this?
No, this was another makeup artist.
Okay.
And I was really young coming in. And I was just like, oh, okay.
You didn't have any money. At this point, it's like you had like $20 in your bank account. You're like,
no money.
Girl, you're like,
talking
I'm just trying to get hired right now.
I'm just trying to get hired.
Yeah, but she's dropping wisdom.
She was dropping wisdom. And it's so funny because I left thinking like, wow, what a weirdo. Like, who thinks like that? You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, how crazy. And I'll never forget, maybe a month later, I was working on a show and the client was like, yeah, I hired you because the other girl just, she just showed up too much. I mean, thigh-high boots, Louis Vuitton bag, what did she say? Rolex watch. Like, she just looked like she was the star. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, it went in my ear and it stayed there. And I just was like, wow. But actually, she's a dope-ass makeup artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really probably would have got a great beat. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to give you what you want, but like, you really kind of slept on her because of the way she looked. But it was her insecurity speaking. But what that artist was trying to tell me was sometimes people's insecurity will really stop you before you even start trying. You know what I mean? Like, it has nothing to do with you, but it has everything to do with what you have on. Then there's some cases where you show up to an event or you show up to a meeting and you have on certain things and they know that they know, okay, well, she's going to cost. You know what I mean? There's just certain.
Yeah.
So it's a weird dynamic of how you show up. But my advice is to be yourself and just, the circles that don't appreciate you, just know that there's going to be some circles that do. And there's some hard lessons. And sometimes you don't want to wear all your stuff. Sometimes you do just want to keep it cool and keep it casual and, wear it at the rap party or whatever. But you just have to know who you're dealing with.
Wear it that one day at the very end.
Wear it that one day at the very end at the rap party or something. But just know who you're dealing with, like read the room. And it doesn't mean to be small. I'm not saying diminish yourself
right.
in any way. It's just understand that certain things bring consequences, and you're like, I didn't do this. You're insecure. Okay, great. Get another job.
Right. Yeah, that's true. And then that goes back to not every job is for you. Not every client is for you.
No, and all money ain't good money.
All money
And if
ain't
you
good
have to
money.
diminish yourself every single day, it's not worth it. There's certain jobs I've had to do, though, because I needed the money. I've never let people just disrespect me. That just doesn't work well with the cells in my body. It does not work well on a cellular level. I can't just sit and take someone being nasty to me and disrespectful to me. And that I've never been able to do. I've had people be very insecure and make certain comments, and I just kind of let it fly. Like, it's not my bag, Like, you start picking up bags and shit that ain't yours. By the end of the day, it's your bag lady. So, like, leave that over there. Like, let me just do my job and keep it moving. And again, I try not to allow myself to get emotionally involved to where it hurts my feelings. You know what I mean?
So you have, what I'm hearing really is that you have like amazing emotional stamina. Like, it's not just the physical stamina of being in the trailer for hours and hours, but it's like also being able to say, nope, I'm not dealing with that. That's your thing. This is my thing. Let me focus on this. It's one thing at a time.
Yeah, and it's like a little kid. It's literally like, even now with my child, I'm looking at him and I'm like, he can't express himself, so he gets mad and he cries, right? And I'm like, okay, cool. I can either like go into that and be like, what are you doing? Let me fix this. Or I can just let you have your moment and step aside. And I do. I watch him and he's like, rah, and then he's cool again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't allow myself to be consumed with it. And it's a practice. I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm perfect all the time and I master my emotions. Sometimes I go to my car and cry. I think there's one of the stories in the article when the woman was asking us if we applied for food stamps, and it wasn't coming from a place, just so people know, it wasn't like, hey girl, you're new to LA, maybe you should apply for food stamps, like in a helping way, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, this was, oh my God, you guys are Black, you'll probably get it, And if you have kids, you probably will get more money for that. Dead ass.
Yeah, that's actually true. Wild. Like,
oh, it was so
when I read
wild.
it again, it's almost like I was outraged when I read it, like, because you did it in 2020, right?
Yeah.
When I read it, I was upset, and then I read it again last night, and I was like, I'm still mad.
They even had me take some stuff out. Some stuff was so much that the editor was like,
they're like, whew, man.
Okay, listen.
They're like, hey.
This is...
Don't roll it back.
This is troubling. I'm like, you think? But in that day, I went to my car because I felt myself getting really hot because I knew that she was being racist. And also I put in there too, I went to University of Alabama. So coming from the South and understanding racism, systemic racism, in your face racism, understanding it to that degree, like I can see it and spot it a mile away, And on the trailer that day, I just got really hot. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to either cuss this lady out, which would embarrass my client, destroy my shot at getting in the union, or just go to your car. And something said, go to your car, beloved. Go to your car. I went to my car and I just cried. I mean, like, boo-hoo, nasty, and it wasn't just her. I think it was just the accumulation of everything. Like, wow, like, you think you've done something or you're so excited to be in this place. And here it is, this woman just comes and just tells you, you're still a nigga. Mm-hmm. And you shouldn't really be here. But since you're here, let me tell you, you might as well get some food stamps. And if you have kids, get an extra check because, the Black kids are kind of slow. It was just so, and I didn't even have kids at the time. I didn't have a child at the time, but it was just so like a reminder. You know what I mean? But I will say, I'm happy that happened because it let me know how certain people think. Not that I didn't know that anyway, but it let me know that people are very bold. And you mentioned money. When you get into the union on certain jobs, there's so much money around that people feel like you're taking their friend's job or you're taking money from their friend. And if I'm making $100,000, who are you, little 27-year-old girl, to be making $100,000? You know what I mean? Like, I've worked so hard and we're going to, like, it was just one of those, like, okay, now you're in the big leagues. Like, my friend went to the NBA and he was like, man, when I got there, I was thinking everybody was going to be like, oh, yeah, you made it. He was like, man, people's pushing me, chumping me off. And I'm like, God, it's kind of
People in the NBA?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
they weren't even like welcome.
No.
I don't know why we idolize other industries. Because in my mind, I'm like, wow, they must have such a great time together.
I mean, look at Cardi B, Madonna, or look at Lotto, Nicki Minaj. Like people, and I don't know them to know the extent of the stories, but it's a common thing that sometimes people just don't want to see you where they are. And I'm not saying that Nicki doesn't want to see Lotto where she is. It's just that whole mindset or that whole thing of like, you know, I've arrived and who the fuck are you?
Yo.
But it's like, you don't know my story. You don't know how hard I've worked to get here. And to assume that I should go get it was just the assumption that we should apply for food stamps. I was like, and there's nothing wrong with food stamps. My God. Nothing
but you don't give unsolicited advice about food stamps. First of all, everybody knows that exists.
Or to tell you, or to say that my kid is slow.
Right.
And I could get a check for that.
You're like, first of all, I don't even have a child. Like, what?
You don't even know me.
Yeah.
You don't even know me. But again, stuff like that happens to show you yourself. And I went to the car, I cried, and tears to me are so beautiful. I love a good cry. You feel so good after cries, man. And if you really taste a tear, it's a little bitter. Like it's salt, it's leaving. I think it's the water to the soul. It either makes you can cry happy tears, you can cry sad tears. But I cried, I got myself together. I reminded myself of who I was. I reminded myself of how far God has brought me and how disrespectful it would be to just let her defeat me and give her the glory of even having me cuss her out. You know what I mean? I'm a good cusser. I can say some good words. Like, I'm not going to give you that.
I can make you cry.
I can make you cry, lady. I'm not going to even give you that. I'm not going to even let you know that you affected me that way. And we ignored her. She lost her job within 24 hours. And of course, she came back like, I know this was you. And we were just putting our stuff together.
Right.
Ignored her completely. Like, okay, can I get some more setup towels? Cool. 70% alcohol or 99%? Which one do you want? Like, completely ignored her. And I know that was a lesson for her.
What'd she lose her job for?
On file, I think it was harassment and racist racist behavior. It was like 3 different things.
So even though you were like, I'm not gonna, so it got out.
It got out. What happened was I went to my car and I cried.
Yeah.
The hairstylist walked off the trailer and called her mom and her sisters. I think she just had a little moment with her family.
Yeah.
And we came back to do our client. And I think because we were so quiet and so calm, our client was like, what's up? And that's the thing, I don't bring stuff to talent ever.
Same.
Money, none of that. We didn't say anything. What happened was a producer came on the trailer and the woman was very nasty to him. She didn't know that he was a producer. He was a black guy. We're in Malibu. She's like, she thought he was lost. Like, what are you doing here? Again, he wasn't dressed like suited, booted. He was just, casual t-shirt, jeans. And he was like, oh, I'm looking for such and such. And she was like, why would you be looking for her? Just nasty to him.
So she was just unhinged, this woman.
I think she was used to working on white productions.
Wow.
And she was not used to seeing black people. Because she had been in the union. I looked at her. She had been in the union for 47 years. And a lot has changed in 47 years. And she was very nasty to him, very disrespectful to him. And he came back and he said, hey, do you guys know her? And we're like, no. Just like that, like, no. And because he knew us so
I do not
well,
know this man.
He's like, can we have a conversation? And we're like, sure. Just calm. He's like, hey, can you guys tell me about her? And that's when I'm like, okay, so, and then the hairstylist starts telling her, like, she told her to go to the hood. She's like, I'm sure you can find some hair off like Crenshaw, like Compton, like go over there. So we told him what happened and, how we came on this was the first day. Like this was a camera test. The movie hadn't even started yet. This was the first day. We introduced ourselves and then she went in and he was like,
the camera test literally, like, when you say, like, this was not even, you hadn't even really started the production at all. You're saying, like, before.
We had literally brought our bags on. We brought our bags on
the trailer?
Just to do the camera test. And we were coming back the next day to set up. And that's when she got fired. And she came back in the trailer pissed off because she'd never been fired before.
Yeah.
And we just completely ignored her.
Sometimes I think people think because of their seniority or
big
because
time.
of the amount, you know what I mean, the longevity that they've had in the business, that they're safe. And that
she
they can say
definitely thought
whatever
she
they
was safe.
want.
She thought she could say whatever she wanted. She thought that she could offend us and that it would be okay.
Yeah.
I think she was expecting us to probably give her more.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck are you talking? We didn't say anything. We were like, it was almost scary how quiet we were. Because when I went to my car, I cried. And once I got it out, I was like, okay, God, you have me here for a reason. I've asked for this. These are things that I've asked for. The universe is, everything is for me. This is all for me. This is all good for me. Like, this is just one person who clearly sees Black women as poor. You know what I mean? Like, she thinks that we need handouts, not knowing our families or who we come from or what we are. Like, you don't know anything about me. Nothing. And she definitely got her ass fired. And when I tell you, it was so cool to just witness, and I don't, wish anyone getting fired, but I say to artists coming up or just already in position, like, sometimes you don't have to say anything. You don't have to say nothing. Because if she had not been disrespectful to that producer, the conversation probably wouldn't have happened for us to even have the conversation about her. You know what I mean? And it just, within 24 hours, and we finished the movie, had a great time, and she was out.
It's incredible.
Gone.
It's like, it's almost like there are things that continue to happen, and it's like, I mean, that's brave. Like, you're creating space, because by that happening, it's changing people's experience in the future. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, less her being there. And then also, she's going to go ahead and share that experience. And then there are other people that are going to be like, even if they feel that way, they're not going to say anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so let's create a safe environment by you just.
It's so funny?
Yeah.
The makeup artist was her best friend. The makeup artist was the department head. I was a personal. And her best friend who was with her, like, the best friend didn't say anything, though. She was sitting there while the lady was telling us all these programs to apply for. But do you know, when we started that Monday, the best friend department head was like, I just want to apologize for the things that she said. And I said, you know what? You will not see me during this production. You don't have to apologize for her unless that's how you feel. If you feel that way, you can apologize. But if you don't feel that way, don't apologize for her.
She was like, let me go get some towels.
Because I'm not going to apologize for the producer that fired her. You know what I'm saying? Like,
at all.
Don't apologize for her. But it was so funny how she fell in line and was like, do you guys need anything?
Right in line.
I'm like, we're not new. We're just new to LA. Like, I know friends. I know Nigels. I got relationships. Yeah. Don't need anything. Just respect. You go over there. I'm going to go right on over here.
I'll just take respect.
Yeah.
With a side of none of this.
Like, I'm good. But again, I mean, it goes back to just really, really having your mental space and taking those breaks. I needed a mental break because I would have cussed that lady out. And it probably would have done more damage to me than her.
Right. Or even, and it's also like, it's being able to handle it the way that you handle it is why more doors open.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, it's almost like we're expected to handle it that way. Mm-hmm. Oh, because if we don't, it's like less, like more is taken away. Yeah. More is taken away. And it's like, okay, not just me, but everybody else. Yeah. Thinking about the bigness of it.
And it's interesting you said that. The producer later came to us and was like, once I got to see everything written down and how the conversation went and how she treated me, and he's like, I want to commend you two, because anybody else would have cussed this woman completely out. You know what I mean? Like, my ego was hurt. Like, you attacked me. Da-da-da-da. He's like, you guys handled it so well. He was like, and that makes me feel so good because I can put you guys anywhere.
Love it.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can put y'all anywhere and you can just deal with it.
Yeah.
Walk away. And we take mental breaks.
Yeah.
Take mental sabbaticals for yourself. Like, really, really do that. And I don't think people talk enough about that. Like, your mental is so important when you're stepping in these trailers, when you're stepping on these sets, when you're stepping into people's homes and doing their makeup. And like you said, you're an empath. Whatever you take in, let that shit go before you get to your house.
Yeah. Breathe it out.
Yeah.
And cry if you need to before you get to the house.
Breathing really recalibrates your nervous system. A lot of people don't really understand that.
Yeah.
Breathing is so important, man. Like, so many people are having mental breakdowns, you know? And I think, especially during the pandemic, a lot of people, especially creatives, were like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How am I going to make money? Da, da, da. And I've been like, breathe. Everything worked out.
Mhm.
You know, we've all survived it. People are still here. Some people have done better, you know? I was so appreciative of your lives because it literally brought us to like a common place of like, man, so many people don't just sit and get to do makeup or talk about makeup or learn about makeup. And then so many of us that are working all the time, especially on TV shows, you're pretty much doing the same looks, you know? Like, you're not doing blue eyeshadow and I'll take that back because Euphoria is dope. There's certain projects that you can do that.
Right.
And there's certain projects that people are police officers or people are teachers and they have to be the same. So I loved watching you because I learned about more products. I also got to laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I got to laugh about stuff. I got to see other people interacting with you. I got to follow other people. Like, I followed probably 1,000 people extra just from your lives. From people, like you would shout people out and I'd go to their page. Like, okay, I'm gonna follow them. Or you would talk about this brand and I'd be, okay, let me get that. Let me follow that brand.
I love that.
It just created such a cool space that I don't think would have happened had it not been for the pandemic. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what made you sound like, you know what? I'm just gonna sit here and do makeup.
You know,
here we go, guys.
Honestly, like, I was so like, is one thing to, you know, everybody, it happened to everybody who was in entertainment. Like you said, you had a whole calendar and then it was like, people were like, oh yeah, you know, it's going to close down for like a couple weeks. And I was like, listen, I like called my manager. I was like, listen, there's no way Hollywood's going to close down. I was like, there's just no way. Like, I was just like, it's not going to happen. I was like, fine, whatever, 2 weeks. Da, 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 da. I did not think that this was real until at least a month in. And then once that happened, I was like, you remember when it was like, you remember when the NBA shut down, everybody was like, oh, okay, this is real.
Yeah, that's what
it was like one of those
real
moments where like, it was like, until that happened, everybody was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
People were talking about their bubbles and all that. And we were like, what? You know what I mean?
It
like later.
shut down. But you know what's interesting about that?
Yeah.
Because we were talking about business too. Like, people that were in the union had some protection because you could take out money from your annuity if you needed it. You know what I mean? Just to have that safety net. And I remember thinking, man, if I would have kept freelancing and just, you know, working here, working there, working here, working there, and I didn't have enough money saved or I didn't have this, I would probably be in Schitt's Creek because I've been working. This money is being saved for me for my retirement. If I was in a bad situation, I could take money out. I knew people that took out $20,000. I knew people that took out $30,000. I knew people that were taking out money and not getting taxed on it or, you know, not having certain penalties because of the hardship. And that's another thing about freelancing versus being in the union. I think people should try to do both. You know, just to have that security, you know, like the union, people say, oh man, you go there to die. Or like, there's so many like negative things about it. And it can be, it can be a crazy ass thing. Yeah. But at the same time, we're artists. You know, we have to go to the doctor's office. We have to go to the dentist. Like, we have things that happen to us. I'm like, even right now, like, I'm so happy that I have insurance. I didn't pay for anything when I was pregnant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all of those things that happen. And it's funny, one of my mentors, she buys watches and like jewelry. And she'd be like, you little idiot, you're buying these $3,000 shoes. I'm buying $10,000 bracelets that I can always get my money back, if not more, if something happens. And when the whole pandemic happened, investments, like real investments, like houses and things like that. But she was just like, you know, so many young people come into money and they just start buying up shoes or buying up clothes because your mama didn't buy you stuff when you was little. And I'm like, yeah, my mom didn't buy me Jordans when I was little. So I fucking bought every pair when I got some money.
I made it. Y'all see?
Made it.
Can you see?
You finally see me? See me?
Yes.
And she was like, how silly is that?
Yeah.
You know? She's like, how silly is that, Malika? Because no one's going to want them damn shoes.
How long did it take you to get out of it though? Out of that mentality? Because I feel like everybody has a little bit of time.
And it's okay.
And it's okay.
It's okay.
You gotta enjoy.
Yeah. Enjoy yourself.
Treat yourself.
Don't cheat yourself. I think for me, it started, I think, in my mid-30s. I joined the union when I was like 25, 24, maybe 24. So it started probably around like mid-30s when I was like, okay, Malika.
You're like, hey.
I'm looking around. I'm like, I've made all this money and I have nothing to show for it, for real. Like, I didn't own a property at the time. I didn't have anything to show for it but some cute clothes and a bunch of fucking makeup brushes and makeup. Like,
and your Jordans.
And my Jordans. Shit that didn't matter. Shit that no one cared about but me. And it was like, okay, now you have to start making your money work for you. And I just learned. I just started talking to people that had way more money than me. Luckily, I have family that invest. And they're like, oh, we've been waiting for you to come around. Put your money in this. Put your money in that. Put your money in this. And even just recently, I learned about life insurance. Like having life insurance that works for you, that if you need money, you can get it. You know, I mean, just to me,
I didn't realize you could do multiple policies.
Yeah.
Until maybe like 3 years ago, my friend Portia told me about that.
Really?
She was like, yeah. She was like, oh yeah. And Marietta too, actually. Yep. She was like, yeah. She was like, she's like, you need to get multiple life insurance policies. And I was like, I didn't even know people could do that.
Yeah. And people do it and put down payments on houses, cars, whatever.
Wild.
Like, you need just having the money. And it doesn't, people think you have to have a lot of money. You don't have to have a lot of money. Just start small, man. Just start with small investments and getting a CPA, getting someone that, especially in this business, getting someone that knows our deductions. Because our deductions are different from everybody else. You know what I mean?
1,000%. If you're with the wrong accountant, you can end up paying so much money.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, me too. For years, because it's like there are so many expenses as an artist that you're eligible for. So you just have to have a moment to like really work with somebody who understands.
Yep.
And it's not just like somebody who just decided to become an accountant.
Not your friend's friend.
Not your friend's friend. Not somebody who's like if they're using TurboTax, it's wrong. Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't do it, girl.
And the thing is too, being humble. That's it. Being humble and being honest. Hey, I have some money. It's not a lot. What do I do? Yeah. I don't know what to do with this money.
What was your first investment? Like type of investment.
Stocks.
Mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stocks.
I feel like it's the lowest entry.
And now I'm in there like, oh.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
I know.
Me.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of myself. But
yes,
I would have never done that. You know what I mean? Like, my mind wasn't there. I didn't grow up in an environment where my mom wasn't buying stocks. My mom was trying to take care of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's once I finished college, I think but my mom's always bought homes and things like that. So she had other investments. But like, for me, I was the first creative in the family.
Okay.
So it was weird, man. Like, when I started making money, I just wasn't in the mind frame of like, making the money work for me.
I think there's also there's that suffering period of when you first become a creative where you like all your friends that are around you are doing so well and you're so broke.
Yeah.
And you're just like, when you get it, you're like, and another thing I want is, you're like, and I have this on my list, so I gotta get this.
And you know, it's so funny.
You gotta get that, like, you know what I'm saying?
People think that college
is broke.
It makes you successful. Oh, you got a degree.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't even go to college for myself. I went to college for my mom.
Yeah.
Like,
you already knew you didn't want to be there. Pulled up day one, no.
Shout out to Saisha Beachman. I did a music video when I was a senior in college with her, and I was like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I want to go. I studied who does this, who does that. I flew out to LA. I flew here. Crystal Wright was here at the time.
Yeah.
Had a class, went there. I'm like, quitting. She's like, you damn sure shouldn't quit, because she was about to quit college. And she really helped me. I don't even think she really knows, but like, I legit was about to quit college like a month before my graduation.
Wow.
Because I was done. I'm like, I see what I want to do with my life. Like, I was already working for Mac and I loved it. I was making great money to be in school. College to me was just whack. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't need to be here. You guys, this is whack. So long story short, so to go to school, to have a degree, and my friends are balling, and I'm like doing makeup, waiting for my check 60 days later.
Yo.
I was traveling, you know what I mean? But I wasn't able to like really support myself. And one of my girlfriends, we're not friends anymore. She's like, you never come to my events. you never get to go to the homecomings. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have the fucking money. Well, how were you just in Prague last week? I'm like, let me show you. The label paid for this. The label paid for that. And this is my per diem. Like, I don't have money. I really don't. And I didn't for a while. You know, it was such a grind, man. And those same people that was talking shit are now like, oh my God, my friend was she's doing it. Like, knock it off.
Isn't that wild?
You guys were talking so much shit about me being poor and broke.
Yo.
Now you're like, can you do my wedding?
Yeah. Hey.
Booked.
Yeah. Unavailable.
Unavailable.
They're like, I haven't told you the date yet. Unavailable.
You can't afford me. You can't afford me. But no, man, but it's important to have supportive people around you. And it's okay to be honest and say, you know what? I don't have it. Yeah. And I never had a problem saying I didn't have money. Some people, that makes them feel like a certain kind of way. I was like, I don't have it, guys. I can't go to Howard's homecoming. Seems amazing. I still haven't gone. I want to go, though.
I want to go, too.
I want to go.
Let's go. It looks so
amazing.
fun.
Oh, and they just had one. I've been looking at everybody's Instagram.
I know.
I'm like,
next time. Yeah, I know.
But when I was like fresh out of college, I couldn't afford to fly to DC, get a hotel. Like, those are just things I just couldn't afford. And, you know, I'm glad I stuck with my grind, though, because it paid off. It really did. I'm not working at a place that I hate. Mm-hmm. You know, I get to work with people that follow their dreams. So that's another thing people don't talk about when it comes to this business. Like, even doing the Super Bowl, I was sitting there and I was like, wow, Snoop is happy to be here. And he kept saying, like, man, ain't y'all niggas happy to be here? Like, I ain't supposed to be here, cuz. I'm like, cuz, I ain't supposed to be here either. Like, you're around people who made their dreams come true.
Yeah.
Who really did the impossible every single day.
Yeah, talk about choosing your clients too, though, because I think that is a big thing. I see the people that are happy in our industry are the ones who are very intentional. You can't chase the bag. You can't, because if you do that, it's like first of all, you're already operating in fear. Mm-hmm. Because if you think that you have to be with somebody who isn't aligned with you so you can make money, you've already lost.
That deficit. Yeah.
How do you choose? Like, what is that process? Is you feel it here in the gut?
I feel it in the gut. It's being financially responsible, that you don't have to do jobs. Because there's some shit people are like, I gotta do it. You have to do it. But I honestly feel like just being honest. If this person is a stickler on time, are you a timely person? I'm a timely person. So I don't mind if a client is like, if you're late, if you're on time, you're late. I'm always gonna try to be there 10, 15 minutes early. Sometimes 30 minutes if I'm really good. I feel people out. I watch them. I watch how they treat people. I watch how they treat their staff. I watch how
especially their assistant.
I
pay attention to the assistant heavy. I'm like, what's that relationship looking like?
I watched a client put her assistant messed up her food. This is a real story. Her assistant messed up her food. And mind you, we're in front of like maybe 6 or 7 people on a trailer. And it was raining outside. So she's like, running to bring the food. And it's like, the plastic and stuff had water coming out. It was pouring down, raining. This is not the right order. She's like, this is what they brought. It's not like she went there and could check the food herself. She was so pissed. She's like, and it's wet. Stand outside so you can be wet. And everybody kind of stopped. Now, normally on a show, people mind their business. Like, I've seen people like, a fire could be going on. Literally, a fire was going on one movie. And people were like, trailers were on fire. But this time, you can hear a pin drop.
People just like ignoring a fire?
The trailers burned. Yeah. People was like,
wild.
Say nothing.
And people like, that is not my job.
Not realizing that it's propane. Not realizing the shit could blow up. Like, you could die. Like, move at least. People standing there watching the shit. People are nuts. But long story short, the client
stand outside.
Put her assistant outside. And
she went and did it?
She did it. Yeah.
No, she didn't.
She went and did it. And the department head, called us like, hey, let's, we walked over to the other side of the trailer. And she was just like, yeah, so, and this woman was in hair. She was getting her hair done. So she had to come over to makeup next. And the department head was like, so I don't have the ability to do her after seeing what just happened. Who feels confident that they can do her? It's not about like department head, key, additional, third. Who can do her? Mm-hmm. And I didn't say a motherfucking word. I'm like, and she's like, Malika, I think you would be good for her. I said, no, I don't think I'd be good for her. She's like, no, I think you would be great for her, actually. I think you'd be great for her. Set up for her. And I was like, okay. So I set up for her and I'm like pissed. I'm like, oh my God.
My eyes are watering just you telling me this story. Like, I'm so...
It gets crazy.
No! Okay, all right.
But there's a lesson in everything, man. The department head, I love her so much. She was really trying to see what I could handle because she told me, like, she wanted to keep working with me. And she wanted to see if I could work with someone that was so difficult and so crazy just to see how I would handle it. And I was thinking to myself, like, you fucking low down lady. Like, you have all these other people here that are much better than me, like been here longer than me. And this woman has been with these people, around these people. You're going to give her a new makeup artist today? Like, okay. Set up with her. I set up. I'm like, waiting for her. She looks me up and down. And I'm like, I'm like, hey, she's like, yeah. I like this. And also I don't like people touching my face. So just don't touch my face. Like, when you do the brows and your finger rests there, don't touch me. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, so do you, I said, you know what, let's try this. So I got tissue and I just start placing tissue under my hand and I like put the whole tissue on her face. When I did her brow, my hand never touched her because of the tissue. I don't like moving her. So I'm like, you're spitting. You're spitting. She's like, yeah, you have tissue in my mouth. I'm like, okay. I move it around. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God. I was like, God, please just let her just shut up. Because if she says something else, I don't know how I'm going to respond. You know what I mean? And everybody was watching. I did her makeup. I didn't touch her face.
You're a good cusser.
I'm a good cusser. Oh, I can say some words. I've been cussing since I was 3. I did her makeup, man. I finished and, her people called me maybe a couple weeks to do some stuff for her out here. We were in Atlanta, so they wanted me to meet them in New York, go to LA, and then come back to Atlanta. It was like some press stuff. And it was $2,500 a day. It was a $500 per diem. And I did not have a lot of money. And I was like, I'm not gonna do it. There's no way.
No.
There's no way you're gonna fly me to New York, fly me to LA to deal with you.
Yep.
Never. Even when I had to touch her up, I'd be like, God, please help me.
Girl, the decisions you make when you're broke change your life when you have more money.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't choose you when you have nothing, you're never gonna choose you.
And I ended up getting like music videos.
Shout out to you.
3 music videos, I think, to cover up that made up for that money. Because I was like, damn, man, I'm not in a position to be like, but I just knew I couldn't emotionally deal with that. If you put your assistant outside in the rain, you're going to take these brushes and spit on me. You know what I mean? And I'm going to catch a case. And now I'm really going to need the money because I'm going to be in jail. And then my family's going to be like, we told you should have just fucking stuck with your degree. Like, no. So all money's not good money, man. And again, just, I think even if you don't, spirituality is just different for different people. And whatever you choose to call God, I truly believe that we're gods. I don't believe that I am the God, but I do believe I am a God.
Right.
And I believe that you can call on your ancestors and you can literally, the universe will conspire to help you. I think you should just really call out, like, you know what? Today, I need this client to really, really watch your mouth. Like,
yeah.
I really start saying what you want. Because people, you do vision boards and you do all these different things of how you want your business to look. How do you want your day-to-day to look? How do you want your clients to be? And when it comes to choosing clients, I really try to watch how people treat other people.
Yeah.
And then where I am. Where am I in my life? Like right now, I'm a new mom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not chasing someone around the country, around the world to do it's just not me. But I have some cool young girls that are eager and ready and will go do it for you. Me, I'm fucking chasing diapers and like.
You like, is it in LA?
Yeah.
If
and
not,
even then, where in LA?
Right. Okay. It's even location. It's even location specific.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to be with my child. And also I'm 40.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't have a kid young. You know what I mean? I had my kid later in life, which can kind of be like, oh, oh, that's great. Then it's kind of like, oh, well, now you've kind of gotten the mix of like doing your own thing for so long. You're like, whoa, who's this kid coming to like wreck my world?
Yeah.
But now I'm like, nah, man, like I want to spend time with my son and like really be there and like be present.
Yeah.
I'm not chasing you around the country.
Yeah.
My time for that is up. And I'm totally okay.
You think forever or you think for right now? You think like the age, would you say it's like because of the age that he is right now, or you think like forever?
I think the age, and then I also think just the wear and tear on your body. You know, traveling a lot does a lot to your body.
Totally.
One of my friends is Angie Beyonce. I love her. Hey, B. Hey, Angie. AB. And we were talking one day about traveling, and she was like, it didn't mess with your body? And I'm like, well, Angie, I haven't traveled as much as you. Like, you've been to every country 6 times.
Wow.
But I've traveled a lot, and I knew what she was talking about, how it literally can mess with your body, and just going here, going there, not sleeping, not eating well, going here, going there, chasing the money, getting the money, spending the money, doing this, doing that, back at it. It's like a whole fucking race. No, I'm done with that.
Yeah. Because
I want to be, my son will be, by the time my son is 18, I'll be, I'm not, at that age, I'm really not gonna, I'll be sitting somewhere happy with my investments. You know, that's why it's important to really invest your money and not just spend your money. It's hard, you know, it's very hard. And I think everybody, allow yourself to have that time of like, you know what, I want to enjoy my money. If you're not mature enough to say, because the thing is, I've listened to people when I was younger, or like people tried to school me, and I just wasn't mature enough to handle that information.
Yeah.
You know, I was still operating in my, I don't want to say lower self, but from my ego stuff. Like, I want this because this is going to make me feel good. You know what I mean?
But you know those seeds though, like they're there a little bit. So I feel like it's good when people say, even now when I speak to, you know, people who are assisting, I'm like, you know, I feel like you're not just going to assist me and I'm just going to teach you how to do makeup. Well, first of all, I need you to already know how to do makeup if you're already assisting me. But
come on.
You gotta have some skill. Like, come on. But I'm going to talk to you about business too. Like, I want you to know how to navigate stuff.
Yeah.
You got to.
How to work this out. How to really understanding your paperwork. So many of us just fill stuff out. One of my friends, Kiyah Hinkson, who's a dope hairstylist, her business manager, her agent, is a lawyer. And it's genius because she can look at these, like, she can look at everything, all these, I can't even think of my word right now, but she can look at all the paperwork and tell her in 5 minutes, okay, listen, they're not going to accept your wigs. They're not going to let you have this day to do this. That's over. All they want is a 10-hour guarantee, this rate, and this weekly. Do you want to do it? And she can be like, no. Another person isn't reading that. They're just like, sign, got it. Or another agent may be like, oh, it's a job. I get this money off the top. Great, do it. You know what I mean? Like, to really, contracts, that's what I was saying. Her person can really look at her contracts and understand them because she's a lawyer, you know? But she's not technically her agent because she doesn't go get her jobs. She just is a business manager that's basically a lawyer that can do everything.
Would you say lawyer first or manager first or agent first?
I think it depends on career, but I think it's always important to have a lawyer.
I think so too.
I think it's really important to have a lawyer because people get tricky. Shit gets tricky.
It does. And
business.
Yeah, it does. I feel like what was your first? What did you have? Or do you prefer to work on your own? First
it was just me. And then I had an agent. And at the time, it was really hard because I was living in Atlanta and Atlanta Housewives had just started. So like reality TV was just kind of becoming popular, and the money for the music videos just weren't the same anymore from what I understood. Because once I got there, they're like, oh, so it was people like Gail Hudson, who's like an OG, like Yolanda, who I think is still with Sierra, who used to do like TLC and all these other people. Like, she had a crazy career before Sierra. the money that they were getting was just gone. You know what I mean? So
streaming also changed, I think, so much.
Big time.
You know what I mean?
Hell
like the music
yeah.
industry is like so different now.
Especially money. And I remember Gail,
Yeah.
shout out to Gail Hudson. Gail Hudson would be like, I'm not getting off my couch for the amount of money that they're paying you.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't trying to like chump me. It was just like, I've been doing this for so long and you're new. You do it.
Yeah.
Good. Get the experience. But just know that like we used to get crazy money for this.
Yeah.
But I said that to say, so I had an agent, but the issue was my agent at the time didn't know more people than me. So I would be bringing jobs like, hey, call this person, and giving you money for that. After a while, it didn't set right with me. So I'm like, okay, I'm paying you to basically manage what I already have. This scenario needs to change. You're a business manager. You're not an agent.
Mm-hmm.
And there was no agency even in Atlanta at the time. Because it's not New York or Los Angeles. It was just literally reality TV was just starting.
So this is your life pre-union.
Yeah, this
798 pre.
Yeah, this is
706.
pre 798. This is probably like 2005, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, how do I? Like I even knew then, like this isn't good business. Like this isn't smart for me.
You're like, I don't know a lot.
Yeah, I don't know a lot.
This isn't
even
right.
The percentage wasn't good. I'm like, I'm literally giving you damn near half my check for money for jobs that I'm getting.
She negotiated 50%?
It was like 30.
Wow.
Not smart. But I didn't, you know what I'm saying?
But it's your first.
It's my
like,
first.
When it's somebody's your first, it's like you don't know.
And she didn't really know either. Shout out to her. I don't think she was trying to like get me.
Yeah.
She was like 30%. I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
But it also
She's
saved
like 50-50?
me too.
You were like
50-50? I'd probably been like, cool.
All right.
That's fine. I'm fresh out of college. I just want some money.
Right.
But I think that I'm glad it happened though, because it also protected me from a lot of other BS that, you know, some of my other friends were going through. Like, you know, guys like, oh, I got this record label, or I got this artist, and like, but low key, give me some booty and I'll make sure you keep work. Like stuff like that I didn't have to really experience because I had someone, you know, like a buffer.
Right. They couldn't talk to you directly.
Yeah. But then once I realized that wasn't smart, I was like, okay, let me start doing it on my own. And then I did it on my own and I was like, ooh, I don't do well with like following up with emails and sending in this. So I'm like, okay. So then when I joined the union, we have a business rep. You have a business rep.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, 798, 706. They don't really do much for you individually. If something happens, then, you know, it's more of a collective. Okay. But it's not for you. Like, Delina, I'm going to make sure you get 3 movies this year. No. But what happens is what I learned when you work in the union, it's word of mouth. If people like you, they call you directly. No one's calling your agent to ask if you are available to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday at 6 a.m. You know, it's just not going to happen. When you have to list your information in the union, you have to list yours. And if you list your agent, good luck. You know what I mean? Like, it just becomes a whole thing. I learned a lot from Kim Kimball. Kim Kimball does freelance, and she also is 706. Like, she has an agent, and she has... You know, we have our business rep, but if something ever happened, the business rep would get involved with the production. But having the agent that does film, I think is really cool. So when I first heard of Marietta, it was because she was a business/agent for Lalette Littlejohn, who was doing Jamie Foxx at the time. Okay. And I remember her talking to her, doing this deal, and she's like, I just paid Marietta a one-time fee, and I'm going to go do this movie and make $200,000. And I was like, well, damn, who the hell's Marietta? And how does Marietta know to get all these things?
Where's she at?
Where is she?
Yeah.
Like, oh, she doesn't work anymore. She moved to Florida.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, okay. And then my other buddy, she had a crazy deal where they had to fly her husband. She was going to be gone for like 5 months. They had to fly her husband to like where was she? Thailand? They had to fly him there twice. It was all in her deal that if she was going to go out of the country for that long, Marietta did that deal. So I'm like, who is Marietta? I want to meet Marietta. And they're like, well, Marietta used to also do makeup. So she knows. And I'm like, that's a person that would be great. You know, to have a business manager that isn't saying, hey, I'm going to bring you these jobs, because really your average agent can't get in touch with producers to be like, "Can you please get Delina? I want to send you over her." They're like, "Is she union?"
Yeah.
They're not even entertain it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even a thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, it's best for me to have a business manager that can manage what I already have.
You've obviously had like a really extensive career in a lot of different areas. What do you think was, if you could like go back and tell like young Malika something? Like
Porn.
Yeah.
No, I did do makeup for porn. They pay so much fucking money. There's makeup and hairstyles for porn, morticians. Like, there's so many different parts of the business. I have done a dead person. I really have.
Somebody you knew?
Done it all. I did know her. Yeah. I wouldn't do somebody I don't know. I'd be
really?
scared. Yeah.
I feel like it's better to do somebody that you don't know.
No.
You're like, I need to
pop up.
Girl, does that really happen? I
heard it does. It didn't happen with me, thank God. If she would have popped up, I'd have been like, what's going on over there? Now, who did you see? For real, what was it like? But I still have to say, there's so many different sides of makeup and hair. You don't have to just be a celebrity makeup artist or film and TV. You can do porn. I made great money, but I didn't.
You did that in Atlanta?
I did it in Atlanta. I didn't have any money. It was $2,500 for 1 hour. I went.
You lying?
Dead ass. I went, did the makeup, left.
This was like how many years ago?
2005, 2006.
I finished college. Real quick.
Listen, I didn't think it was real. I'm like, they're gonna pay me?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God.
And they sent it within 30 days. Net 30.
I got paid right there.
Same day.
Oh. I'm like, when do you need me again? But I felt weird though, because I was like doing the makeup and I was like, does she really want to be here?
Yeah.
Like, she was kind of like drinking and stuff.
Yeah,
and I was looking at her eyes like, but she was looking back at me like, extra lashes? Can you contour a little more here? I'm like, wow. I left makeup for the body and stuff. Like, it was a cool little gig. I did it twice and I was like, okay, I can't make a habit out of this because I'm going to start asking too many fucking questions. And I was. And it was just crazy, but sorry. I had to say that. I have. There's probably nothing I haven't done. I'm like,
Oh my gosh. Wait, I know you wanted to talk about a book before we go.
Yes. This is, I'm acting like this is my book. This is not my book, guys.
You are 100%. It is feeling like it's your book.
You know what's so crazy?
Yes.
I bought this book because I love her. I've worked with her. I think Kiyah Wright is an amazing, talented person, and she's a wealth of knowledge. And for us in this business, you can learn so much from people that have been doing this for a long time. And to me, she was one of the people that was like a young OG because she's relatable and like young. And the people that I was learning from were 65 plus. Some of them were in their late 50s. So in my early 20s, learning from people in their 50s and 60s, they were much older than me. Kiyah is still relatively young and has done so much. I think one of her first people was like Faith Evans with like Bad Boy in the 90s. So like, in the book, she really, the thing that I wanted to discuss in this book,
from beauty to business.
There's tips, there's taxes, and she also has these little what do you call these?
QR codes.
Yeah, these QR codes that you can scan and look up different things, whether it's, knowing when to hire a CPA, when to have business credit versus your personal credit, when to start looking at IRAs, when to start putting money up for your retirement. Like, it goes above and beyond a real business plan. Having knowing how to have a real business plan, also knowing when to have an agent, when to not have an agent. Like, it is such a she gives it up. And she even, like, I don't read books a lot. Like, I love books. I won't fully read a book. Like, for me to fully read the book, I'm like, I gotta be. This book, I was like, I mean, it has the things in here that how to fill these out. Because when I did my first job, when people were giving me these, I was like, wait, what do I write?
She has like the forms from the IRS in there.
Everything.
Wow.
This is something that I think everybody in the business should have.
That's incredible.
Because there's just certain things you just don't know. I didn't know how to fill out those forms, and it messed me up down the line with the IRS. And I ended up having to pay like $40,000, and I was pissed off. But had I learned certain things, I would have been like, oh man. So this is something I really, I think everybody should have. And I don't get paid for this or any of that. But I feel like if you're going to be in this business, understand the business of it for real. So you're not screwing yourself and you're not looking up 10 years and you don't have anything to show for it but some shoes and some bags.
Facts.
Yeah. Shoes and bags are cool, but they don't feed you. They don't pay your bills. I do want to say something.
What? Tell me.
Your mom.
Yeah.
Where can I say to her?
You want to? I feel like I think it's that camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to say that you are so pretty, and whatever you're doing, keep it up. And if you ever want to adopt a daughter and a grandson, because I'm a package deal, and I have a man. You just have family in LA, and I just think you're so beautiful, and I love how your light shines. Whenever Delina puts you on her Instagram, I'm always like, look at her, hey girl. So I just want to say,
hey mom,
hey.
I love that.
Your mom is the cutest.
She is. She's super cute.
Put her on more.
Okay, I'm gonna put her on more.
Thanks.
She needs her own channel. I wish I could produce her. If I had the time, I would.
I'd
be like, let me give my mom her own channel. I feel like she would rock it out.
You need to Kris Jenner the situation.
Hello? I know, the reverse.
You need to totally. No, your mom's a talent.
Yeah.
She's funny. She's cute.
Yeah.
She's it. Is she married?
She's married. My dad's look, you had somebody for her?
I was really trying to bring you to the family.
When she hears this.
I was really trying to find my uncle. But no, I think your mom's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And you've done an amazing job.
Thank
your
you.
daughter is really sweet. I really dig her for real. I don't come out for people.
I stay inside.
And I will not cuss around you, but I'm a very good cusser. Because I sense that you don't like cuss words. You're a lady.
She is a lady.
Yeah,
she is a lady.
She drinks
like,
tea.
Please don't talk like this.
I would be so good around you. I mean, I'm going to be honest and tell you who I am. I do cuss. But around you, I'm drinking tea with oat milk.
Facts. Hey, I love you. Thank you for coming.
I love you too.
Yes. Oh, let's do a hug. Oh. Hey, you've gotten to the end of the episode, and thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of the It Takes a Village podcast community. If you're looking for a way to help us grow, leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. Every review counts, and I read all of them. Also, if you're feeling like leaving some questions, things that you want to hear me answer or ask in the next couple episodes, please leave that there as well, so that way I can incorporate some of my favorites. And if somebody came to mind while you were listening to this episode, please hit the share button and invite them into the conversation. As always, show notes are available at ittakesavillagepod.com. That's pod.com. You can follow me at Delina Medhin. That's DeLina Medhin. Lastly, I just want to say thank you for being patient with me. This is an episode that I'm so excited to release. Being able to talk to people about their village, being able to connect with you deeply about your own village is something that I hope will help take your business to the next level. And that's really what this whole thing is about. It's what's driving me to continue to have these conversations. Hopefully these conversations are resonating with you the way they're resonating with me. I'm having so many aha moments during this show. And I just want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for the reviews. Thank you for the subscribes, the likes, the comments, but even just listening. Just listening means so much to me. And with that, I'll see you in the next episode.